doing Zoom with Melinda Nutting, my colleague of Step by Step. So Mel, I just want to ask a question for you that might help our audience out there. What have you got an example of what it's been like for families who have going through COVID-19 and the challenges that's that's arising for them?
Yeah, so one that comes to mind is that because of the self-isolation, but the fact that the parents are still spending time with the children, and that's involving potentially different arrangements because of where they're spending that time, or activities that they can't do that they would have normally. And I did have a family last week where it was about to blow up fairly into something like a big argument because of a very last minute change to arrangements, because the dad wasn't well, and asked mum to have the children outside of what had been the normal times, and she was trying to juggle it around her work, and what had happened too was that these parents both just felt that the other one was kind of not considerate of each other's situation and how they were juggling things. So as usual, the way that we work with families is that our role is to be able to just talk to them individually and support them in kind of identifying where they might have been triggered or frustrated by the other, how the communication might have not been the best, and then it flared up from there. And basically it took me an hour and a bit's worth of phone calls to the two parents to be able to propose something for them to work through this, which was to be able to accept and agree to a very short-term change in the arrangements, but reassuring them that didn't mean that in some way they were being, a doormat or being walked over by the other parent, because we're all doing things as parents right now in this time to support our kids. So what I think was good about that, then that opened the door for me to then go back to the parents this week and say, okay, we're going to keep working on the things that I can see now, had maybe fallen by the wayside, which was your agreement about how you're communicating. Also, if you're making changes, when and how you're making those changes. And all we've had to do is bring things back more into the to the framework that we'd established, some months ago. So, I mean, we can kind of step back and look at it that way, because we our focus and our commitment to families is to support them through the nitty gritty, the everyday, the things that just come along that might spin them out or throw them, a curveball, but then bring them back into what we're supporting them with around communication, business-like way of making arrangements. And if things change, or if someone doesn't perhaps communicate or behave appropriately, how to not turn that into something potentially that's going to send them off to lawyers. So that was one example. The other example I had was a family where the separation had occurred just in the last month before COVID, and they hadn't really been able to sort out the person who left the family home, how to be able to start to properly pack up all the belongings and move out properly. And the difficulties were that with COVID, people are making different decisions about, are they going to rent or just stay with family members for the short term. And there were issues around returning to the home to pack up things with two people who've now separated having different ideas about who should have access and who might expose the other to the virus, etc. And that one really potentially could have been one where people could have gone to lawyers about it, and it could have got really ugly. And again, it was just a matter of being able to assist the two parents in realizing that in the end, this is a very difficult situation, but it's just a small part of a jigsaw puzzle. And the idea is to be able to feel better about having got through that than make it
Mm.
into something that's all consuming, because then that's ill will that's just going to brew and grow on
Yeah.
its own energy for the next part of the negotiation. So I guess when we're able to diffuse that and move forward on that, that was sorted in a couple of days. And
Yeah.
both of these are examples where people would have potentially gone to lawyers and spent a lot of money and got caught up in a going nowhere situation, which would have
Mm.
escalated. And both those situations we're used to dealing with. We deal with them all the time with our
Yeah.
families as we hold their hand through the process.
Yeah.
So I think that we're still able to do exactly what we've always done for families,
Yeah.
the way we work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it is just that thought process of just, you know, thinking something differently, because again, this is out of the norm. No one has gone through this before, as in COVID-19. No one has, so we don't know. So we're all learning ourselves, and it's all a big challenge. So it's just about working with what we're presented with right now. It's just trying to work through that. So
you're right, because it's not like we're experts and have got the answers, but what we do, whether it's about the child's swimming lessons or the situation that's arisen about someone's new partner, or the other situation that about, you know, choosing a school, it doesn't matter what the issue is. What we apply is assisting both parents to be able to work through that in a way that they will feel better because they did get something that was workable,
yeah,
and it wasn't through illegal means that they felt like they were forced or pressured into it.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's all, as you've said before, it's a hard enough time as it is, but we're there to support them in it not needing to be as difficult or as stressful as what it could have been.
yeah. And sometimes too, I look at, no, I think it's an instant, it's that reaction that we have. It's just this, it just comes out. And then all of a sudden, once we, you know, for us, for anybody, once you calm back down, you start to become regulated again, then you're thinking rationally again. So it's a normal response, just having a, you know, a reaction that, I just think sometimes it's, for us, we're trying to, again, it goes back to that pressure. We do put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we've got to really just come back and just have a think, and you know, we're here for that to happen, to support people with that.
Yeah, so anyone who would like to find out about what we're calling at the moment interim parenting agreements for COVID-19, just
Yeah,
get in touch with us. Go onto our website, www.stepbystepsupport.com.au, and there's a contact form there, and we provide a free no-cost phone call to find out what's going on for your family and how we could assist.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
Australia-wide because we have the video technology, and
Yeah,
so you can call us and contact us from anywhere in Australia.
yeah, absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
Tania,
Thanks,
thank
Mel.
you.
Bye.